Hey, beautiful people. It's your girl, Rocqi, your revolutionary hippie from LifeIsRocqi. As I just started this, I'm realizing my voice is kind of hoarse. So we'll see how this one goes. But let's bring the water up, shall we? All right. So welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and help my channel grow. And welcome to another episode of my Becoming a Feminine Woman series. Please check out the rest of the series. I'm enjoying doing the series so far. The audience is for the strong, independent, and lonely Black woman. So if you're not in that audience, you may or may not relate to this information, benefit from this information. It's not for the single and happy. It's if you single and lonely. Like, you done built your career, you got your degrees, and you still want a man. Okay? All right. Okay, so today's topic is why do you choose monogamy? Because men want sex. All right, so a little bit of backgrounds. Identified as monogamous for 26 years. However, at year 26, I started questioning my sexuality, and within that's when I was exposed to polyamory through a Black lens, because before it was through a white person. It didn't connect, but through a Black lens. But I also I was in Facebook groups, and I was in a like a LGBTQ and poly women space, Black women space. So I was seeing how people thought in relation to the mentality that a lot of us have within polyamory who identify as polyamorous. And I was like, I think like that, right? So same with my sexuality, how I looked back at those past 26 years and I was like, oh, there were the signs. They were always present. There were also signs like that for me being non-monogamous. And I say non-monogamous and not polyamorous because I was definitely not being ethical about it all of the time in the way that I would practice now. But so I know a lot of times as polyamory is becoming the forefront of awareness in America, yay! It is, a lot of women look at it like, oh, straight women can't be polyamorous. There's plenty of straight women, straight cis women who are polyamorous. Like, there's plenty of them. Like, there's definitely, especially in the Black and poly, like, yeah, there's still a lot of homophobia, still a lot of biphobia in those Facebook groups. So let me tell you, not everybody is in the queer community. So you have options. Okay? Thank you. And also, when I, those past, well, not past 26 years, probably the past decade, dating since I was 16, like, I definitely had experiences with non-monogamy. Sexual non-monogamy I had experiences with, as well as desiring romantic non-monogamy, but not knowing it was an option. There was 3 different times in my life where I had to choose romantically between 2 different guys. This was all with men. All of my non-monogamy prior to 26 was solely with men. And there was 3 different times in that 10-year period where I had to choose romantically between 2 different guys. And I hated that shit. And I even wrote a poem about it, and I was relating it to fire and water because I was realizing in that moment they offered me different things. These were different connections. So I couldn't compare them because they weren't the same, right? And that was me being polyamorous without knowing that I could choose that. And then even with sexual non-monogamy, I wasn't always upfront. Like, I would say, you're not the only one. But now, like, practicing ethically and consensually, I'm very forward with details as far as, like, it depends on the details that wants to be known. So, like, with my life partner, if I were to date guys, I'm not interested in dating any other guy. That would be on my is he irreplaceable episode that I'm excited to record. We'll see if it's recorded by the time this is released. Check out the rest of my Becoming a Feminine Woman series and please subscribe. But yeah, my life partner said if I date guys, he doesn't want to know anything. He like nothing. But I'm pretty sure, he wants to be aware that that's what's happening. But with women, he's a lot more open to knowing just because it's easier to know. Now, as far as me, it's not don't ask, don't tell. It's not that. Because that to me that's closer to cheating for me, but that's because of my boundaries. So within my boundaries, transparent and honest communication is within my boundaries. So like I don't want, and I had to work to get to accept that I didn't want to know the details of my life partner with different women. And that's because in the polyamorous community, I'm going on a long ass tangent, but bear with me. In the polyamorous community, compersion is pushed a lot, and it's joy for another's joy. And they say it's the opposite of jealousy. You can be compersive and jealous. That's another episode, y'all. But yeah, so I was thinking I was being a bad polyamorous person, right? Even though jealousy is a human emotion. And then it wasn't until I realized, like, I don't have to strive to be excited that he's going on a date with someone. Like, I can strive for indifference. Like, I'm happy that you're free and you're able to connect. And I hope you have, good connections. But I don't need to know all the details. I just need to know when you're going out, if you're coming home with someone. I do have sexual boundaries. So if he doesn't get tested prior to engaging in sexual activity with someone else, then we stop having sex, and he needs to get tested before I will re-engage. Because I'm my boundaries. But and we date separately. So yeah, it's just different as far as the details and the level of communication than when I was younger. And I appreciate more of the communication now because it's more honest. Like I felt like when I was younger, like it was sneaky, it was secretive. Like I ain't like that. Like I wanted to be upfront about my shit. So that part aside, men want sex. Like it's the testosterone. It's mainly majority the testosterone. And that's okay. Like I was just watching the Fresh and Fit podcast, and they asked the men, did they want to be monogamous? And then they equated monogamy with settling down and having a family. And then is it Fit? I forget his name. Starts with a M. Myron, I think. But anyways, he was like, I don't want to be monogamous. And the woman was like, who hurt you? And it's like, you don't have to choose non-monogamy because somebody hurt you. You could genuinely be non-monogamous and desire non-monogamy. Like, this box that has been written for our culture is new. Like that, we didn't have to abide by that. And naturally, by nature, we don't have to. Like, other species also aren't monogamous like that. Like, we don't have to be. And then also, you can be non-monogamous, you can be polyamorous and have a family. Like, it's not, like, even within polyamory, it's more so focused on relationships, romantic relationships, committed relationships, romantic and emotional connections. It's not prioritizing sex at all. Sex usually comes with relationships, but, like, there are a lot of asexual people in the polyamorous community. So it's like, yeah, sometimes relationships aren't about sex. Now, however, in the larger ethical non-monogamy umbrella, yes, some people have sex outside of their relationships where they may be living together, maybe sharing finances, may have kids together, that kind of thing. So there are dynamics for that, and that's okay. Like, in polyam relationships exist where one person identifies as monogamous, they're only with that person, and then the other person identifies as polyamorous and they're with multiple people. Like, that is an option. And people who say I can't share and I'm too jealous and I'm too selfish and all that stuff, I question you, like, don't you want to grow? And if you don't want to grow, why the fuck are you seeking a relationship, which is all about growth? Like, who you are as a couple at 50 isn't the same as who you are as a couple at 25. Like, you're growing whether you like it or not. So buck the fuck up and grow within yourself. Like, no other area are we allowed to be jealous. Like, no, you need to manage that shit. It's a human emotion and totally valid, very informative. However, what you not gonna do is put that shit on me, okay? I'm just saying. So, like, yeah, you have to grow through this shit. And this shit was not easy. I'm not saying it was easy at all. Like, whew, the emotional growth work. Like when he had sex with someone in the house, we have separate bedrooms. But yeah, that was like a whole shit. And that was like when we just started. So it was definitely intense emotionally. But now I'm in a much better place. And that was more because I had anxiety around testing and stuff like that, and my boundaries and stuff. So I'm a lot more, like, he just went out a few months ago, and yeah, I was totally better. So I've done a lot to learn how to manage my emotions. Also have support that's not him. So I have more polyamorous community, polyamorous friends, so I can turn to them when I do need to talk about that kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely possible. And that's the thing. I can't give it to him. My man is Caribbean. He's been a vegetarian all his life. He has a super high sex drive. He's a little freaky as well. Like, I cannot meet his needs. I just can't. I can't take it no more. Okay? Now, some women, they say they can. I don't know if they've met him. But a lot of women, like, his preference would be 3 to 4 times a day having sex. My preference is 3 to 4 times a week. So therefore, we do not align. We are incompatible. Okay? And if you are a woman and your sex drive or your sex preference is not 3 to 4 times a day, then yeah, you may have to consider this. If yours is, like, your dude may rock with it. However, men also like variety. And as I'm experiencing women, I definitely see discovering a new body is beautiful. Oh, and it really is. Women have beautiful bodies, y'all. Woo! But I said I identify as bisexual and queer, right? Okay, great. So yeah, I understand it. And like being with the same person over and over, I get it. It gets monotonous, and you want to change things up. And sometimes, and people are like, well, we can do things. And it's like, sometimes you do just want different energies. And like, I've realized this with me dating. Like, I would come home from a date, and I think one time I came home from a date and my life partner immediately cuddled with me. And like, it was weird as fuck. I could feel the energy shifting in my body as I shifted from my energy with the woman that I was on the date with to my energy with him. And to feel that happening, because I don't think we've ever, like, usually when I come home from a date, especially if I was doing anything sexual, like, I'll shower. And we did establish a boundary, I think, after this incident, of just taking space after our date to just recalibrate and shift our energy. Because that shit was weird. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? but yeah, like, the kids are out. But yeah, I can't meet it. And I'm okay with him wanting variety. As far as me, I would probably have a guy with a little bit of a smaller dick, just because I can't take it all the time. Just, it'd be too much. However, I don't want all that comes with that. Like, vetting a guy, like, this is just very, again, I'm excited for this episode. Is he irreplaceable? I'm excited for it. But stay tuned, subscribe, please click that notification bell so you know when it premieres. Yeah, it's I honestly would rather a woman with a strap on, because we can literally choose the size. I'm just saying. Like, yeah. So yeah. And again, it's not that I'm not allowed to, quote unquote, not allowed to date men. My partner is aware that it will impact him and it will then impact our connection, but he's not gonna restrict me. Like, he doesn't control me. I'm my own free and autonomous person. But I don't. The vetting process to see if a man is worth my time is not worth it to me. I would rather spend that time and energy on women. So yeah. For you ladies who are straights, I get it. The pool is slim. So because you want equality, right? Because you want equality, you're like, well, I want to be able to do what he does. But you need to set your ego to the side and really ask yourself, do you want to have time and energy with multiple men at the same time and also engaging with them sexually? Like, do you want that? If you do, cool. There are some women who do. Shout out to you, you know? I'm not one, and a lot of women aren't. Because, like, when I was dating men primarily, I saw it as a trial and error process. Now, sure, I have now learned that the longevity of a relationship does not determine its success. And my relationship status does not determine my worth. Okay. Those lessons were not there in my early 20s. So it was a trial and error process. And yeah, shit got tired. Like, it's just so many levels of vetting, and like I don't have time, you know? I just don't. Like, if I knew somebody, then maybe, but I also am not lacking. Like, my man satisfies me. So I don't need other dick. And then as far as like male energy, I enjoy my guy friends. I really enjoy them. I enjoy masculine energy a lot. That's just because I have masculine dominant energy. So yeah, I enjoy that energy a lot. I enjoy the logical conversations. I enjoy them a lot. But yeah, I just don't need to have sex with them. That's, yeah. Now check out Jadena on The Breakfast Club, because he was talking about dating a woman who was dating multiple men, including him. And he was talking about the growth that needed to happen. And it's a lot with your ego, you know, especially the trying to control someone. That's all ego. Cause yeah, like, I don't own you. I can't tell you what to do. Like, you gonna do what you want, you know? And I'm either gonna like accept it or I'm gonna walk away, you know? So yeah. But unless you giving these guys sex 3 to 4 times a day and you role playing extensively, yeah, monogamy may not be what's best for men. And I'm not saying that some men aren't monogamous romantically. I'm not saying that some men aren't monogamous sexually. Actually, men are more likely to be monogamous romantically. But yeah, I'm not saying that some men aren't monogamous sexually. Some men are. They desire monogamy. They just want one person. That is definitely, yeah, it happens. But I'm also saying there are a lot of men who don't want monogamy sexually, but also want to be upfront with you, want to be ethical and consensual about it. But then you get mad about it. And it's like this judgment for men being different than women. You want equality, but you don't accept our differences. Like, we are different, and that's okay. That is okay. Stop judging and shaming them and belittling them just because they want sex. There's nothing wrong with sex. Sex is very natural. Just because it's not to your emotional standards or your marriage standards doesn't make them less than you. Like, that's why when I was dating men, I was like, if you want sex, just let me know. Sometimes I'm with him, sometimes I'm not. But you lying and sneaking around, like, I'd rather you be upfront. Because then, yeah, we can, like, all right. Like, I've had one night stands. I've had fuck buddies. I've had friends with benefits. Like, Sex is pleasurable. It feels good. However, I realize I'm different as a woman. A lot of women aren't able to separate their emotional attachments from sex. I get that. I'm an Aquarius, and then I'm just naturally, probably because I'm Aquarius, but also my dad was very logical and I was very close to him. I'm a very logical person. So I was able to disconnect my emotions and just enjoy the pleasure of sex. So, but not every woman is. Be honest with yourself, ladies, if you are not. Because don't try it if you're not. And then lie to yourself, and then you get emotionally attached, and then your feelings get hurt. Who are you fooling? Yourself. I'm just saying. So, strive for emotional growth. Ask yourself, if I'm monogamous, does my partner have to be? And if I'm not giving up that sex, then why am I expecting monogamy from my man? Gotta ask yourself these questions. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm interested. Okay. Yeah. And honestly, it's also that unique special shit. Listen, when you embrace polyamory, you have to do some deprogramming of monogamy conditioning because we do live in a mononormative society. So one of the deprogrammings that I had to do was that I want to feel unique and special. And through learning more about polyamory culture and mentality, it was the understanding that because I am my own unique individual, my connection with my partner will be its own unique individual. So even if he does the same exact thing with someone else, it doesn't change the specialness because she is not me. So that would change the experience. And I realized this and stuff that like he's done with his ex and he's told me about and we do. And honestly, I do it to reshape that experience. Because I'm like, you've had a bad experience, a bad association with this. And say it's something that he enjoys doing, but now it's been tainted because of this ex. And I'm like, let's reshape that experience because I know you will enjoy it with me. Because we enjoy each other and you enjoy doing this. So it's... yeah, you gotta let go of this unique and specialness. Because you're you, it's unique and special, okay? And also, commitment isn't just a commitment to monogamy. Like, he can be committed to you. And also, fuck other women. Like, it's... men... and I'm not saying all, okay? Generalizers, get out of here. Not saying all. Majority, though. And that's one of the things that I had to learn watching these male-dominated podcasts and platforms. I like to speak to the exceptions because I'm an exception. I'm very different as a woman, and I'm aware of that. I knew that very early on. And a lot of women I found do speak to the exceptions. But it's like, the exceptions are rare. You got to speak to the rule. What's majority happening, right? So yeah, they can commit to you. Commitment means I'm investing in you. I'm dedicating my time, energy, and resources to you. And like, I care about you. So yeah, commitment to me and commitment to monogamy is different. And like, for me, I didn't really care about the commitment to monogamy. I was just like, commit to me. And that's what I wasn't getting with the ambivalence and stuff. Who knows if ethical non-monogamy could have changed things. I'm happy where I am with my life partner. So that doesn't really matter. But yeah, these are some things you really got to sit with yourself and ask and set that ego to the side and self-reflect and be honest. Like, now I will say, men's sex drive tends to dip like 40s plus, just depending on the man. So that may change, but 20s and 30s, it's on and popping. So, and even now, like, with my life partner, like, really revving up in our business and in his businesses, like, he just doesn't have the time and energy to meet people and have sex. And then his boundaries are changing as far as the requirements for sex. Like, he really is polyamorous. Like, he needs like an emotional connection and like character, and like she's doing her own emotional work. Like, it's not just bodies for him. But as I've experienced in the past and other men have experienced, like sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like, I don't need to know about your personality. I don't need to know about your values. I just need to know, are you going to be good in bed? That's what I need to know, because that's what I'm seeking. So some men are like that, and that's still okay. As long as people are open and honest about what they want and they find someone that aligns with, then that's what works. Stop judging and shaming these men just for wanting sex. It's okay to want sex. And it's okay if you don't want it. But then you got to acknowledge that you don't want it. And okay, what you gonna do about it? Why are you forcing men to be in monogamy and see that as the only sign of commitment, seeing that as the only type of marriage? Like, non-monogamous marriages exist, and they have existed. They just haven't had a damn name on it, because what happened? There was the whole ass family you didn't find out until the funeral, like the baby showing up on the doorstep. What? Jay-Z, like, not monogamy. It works for some, but it does not work for the majority. Humans have had a terrible job at monogamy. So why we're living in this bubble, like, it's, again, monogamy works for some. If you choose it intentionally for yourself, and then you align with someone else who intentionally chooses it for themselves, beautiful. But what happens is, needs are not met, there are incompatibilities, and ain't nobody being honest and accepting of it. I accepted it. I'm like, yeah, I can't meet that need, bruh. Nope. Can't do it. Have fun and frolic. I hope he meets someone who can give him that sloppy ass head. I hope he can. I hope he can meet someone who can ride his dick till the sun come out. Like, I hope he can. I hope he meets someone he can have anal sex with, and just, a lot of other things that it's like, why do you want to do this? I hope he can. I'm working on becoming a better lover. That's in my other video. But subscribe. But like, I hope he finds someone he can experience those things with, who, like, they naturally like that. Because there are women who do. Like, there are women who are, more on the freakier side, more on the kinkier side. I'm with it. Like, sex positivity. I just know that I can't give them all that. And it's with polyamory, it's like, I accept, like, Tyler Perry, 80-20. You accept that 100% of your needs are not going to get met. But with monogamy, you accept that. You accept that 20% of your needs just won't get met, right? With non-monogamy, it's like, 100 is going to get met. It just may not be all with one person. And like, my partner, he does meet 80% of my needs from a man. I've started to distinguish the difference between what I want from a man, what I want from a woman. That's a different episode. Ooh, I'm going to get into that one. Subscribe. Click that notification bell so you know when I premiere new content. But yeah, sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions, and then drop your answers in the comments below, because I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. I know what I chose. And soon as and he had to see that I chose polyamory for me. He was like, he wasn't fucking with it if I was only doing it for him, which I think is what my family thought. And I was like, no, bruh, regardless of you, whether you're in my life or not, I have now embraced polyamory. There's no going back. Like, go back to restrictions? Why? So once he understood that this was for me, then he was like, oh, okay, now I can commit to you for life. Yeah. So what you gonna do? I'm curious. But yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please share. These conversations need to be had. And take care of you. Have a beautiful day. Peace and love.